Hello guys and welcome back to Premier League predictions. We are back for a midweek special. I'm joined by Sophie. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. And how are you?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. I love the Premier League. I mean, we had some great scores over the weekend that we need to talk about, and we've got some big games to predict this midweek. Be sure to quickly get your comments down below with your predictions, and let's go for 3,600 likes on this one. We've been slacking a little bit recently on the likes, so make sure to drop a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already as well, as we are now pushing to 93,000 subscribers. Thank you for all your great support. And the scores from last time, Sophie, I just beat you 4-3. There wasn't many points, but a couple of okay predictions, I guess. But there was a couple of surprises.
I think there was quite a few surprises, to be honest. And we tend to go for the favourites, and it backfired this week.
Let's see if we can catch some of these predictions right this time. Let's start, Sophie, down on the south coast as Brighton take on AFC Bournemouth. This is already a tricky one because you've got two teams that I really like, that I think both are in contention for European places this season, and Bournemouth have probably marginally been the better team this season, but they lost at home to Wolves at the weekend, whereas Brighton went to Southampton and won 4-0. Now, yes, I get that Southampton are awful and they are losing to everyone, but still, it was a good statement from Brighton, and I really enjoyed some of those goals. I think this might be a draw. I think Brighton have drawn so many games this season, and I actually tend to prefer them away from home. So I think Bournemouth will bounce back from losing and get a draw at Brighton. I'm going to go 1-1.
Is it at Brighton, did you
It's
say?
at Brighton.
I just feel like Brighton in the past couple of weeks, they seem to have turned a corner a little bit. And what we saw with Bournemouth's performance against Wolves, it wasn't the best, to be honest. They did deserve to lose. Obviously, they've had a man sent off as well. So I might actually back the home side here. I'm going to go for a Brighton 2-1 win.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't often go against Bournemouth, and I don't often back Brighton, especially in the last few weeks, but they seem to have turned a corner, so I feel like they've earned some respect there, and I'm backing them to win. Yeah,
no, that's fair enough. It's a big game, isn't it, in that race for Europe, and it's anyone's game, isn't it, to finish 4th, 5th or 6th, it seems. On to the next game, Sophie, where we go to Crystal Palace versus Aston Villa. Both teams with good wins at the weekend, Sophie. We both backed Villa to beat Chelsea, so we did get that right. Asensio scoring in the 89th minute to win that. But we didn't back Crystal Palace to win at Fulham. That was a great win.
That was, to be honest, a clean sheet as well against Fulham at home. So
at Fulham's home.
Yeah, Fulham at home.
Yeah. It makes it difficult, doesn't it? I mean, Mateta's been really good lately for Palace. Villa obviously have firepower. Do you reckon Rashford's going to score soon?
Either score or assist. I know he's getting the assist right now, but in this one I think he'll either get a goal because he's getting close, or another assist, which is still good.
See, I very much think this could be another draw, but I don't want to go for two draws, so I might just go for Villa. I think Palace have been good, but they seem to go like hot and cold.
Hot and cold, yeah.
But then Villa can be hot and cold.
True.
But let's back Aston Villa. They've not played in the Champions League for a few weeks, so they're a bit better rested at the moment. Palace 1, Villa 2.
Do you know what? I might actually go for a draw. I think it was a great result for Palace against Fulham. I didn't see that coming. And then Villa, we did expect to beat Chelsea to turn around as well and walk away with all 3 points was very, very good. I think the two might cancel each other out, to be honest. So 1-1 for me.
1-1. Yeah, that seems plausible. Do let us know your thoughts on Crystal Palace versus Aston Villa. It seems a tricky one to predict. How about this one, Sophie, at Molineux, as Wolves take on Fulham. Now, Wolves, what a win at AFC Bournemouth. You know, good teams go there and lose, and considering Wolves are in a relegation battle, to go there and win is massive. And they're now 5 points clear, Sophie. And if they win this, they could be 8 points clear, and maybe it's game over down at the bottom.
Possibly, yeah.
It's a big opportunity because Fulham have just lost, but on the balance of things, Fulham have been the better team than Wolves this season, but I don't know, do Wolves have more to play for? It feels like it.
Yeah, they kind of do.
Go on, let's reward Wolves after last week. I'm going to go for another 1-0 Wolves win.
Yeah, I might go 2-1 Wolves, because I was a bit surprised that they actually kept a clean sheet against Bournemouth, so all credit to their defence there, but I don't know, against Fulham, I do see Fulham getting a goal, but I feel like right now, if Wolves can put 2 wins on the bounce, that does make that cushion near the bottom that little bit nicer and a little bit more comfortable, and I think they might do it. So yeah, I'm backing Wolves as well, 2-1.
There you go. I mean, don't get me wrong, I want to see Ipswich having a chance of staying up. You know, I don't want to see the bottom three completely cut adrift, but you know, Wolves have got to save themselves, haven't they? And it begs the question about that bottom three. It's becoming too hard for teams that have been promoted to stay up, but that's a different topic, I guess. On to the next game, Sophie. It's Chelsea versus one of those bottom three, Southampton. This is a really nice fixture for Chelsea. Yeah. Obviously, they lost 2-1 to Villa in the last minute, but this is the sort of game you should bounce back with at home to Southampton. As for Southampton, it was another defeat at the weekend, 4-0.
And the heavy defeat as well.
4-0 to Brighton. I mean, those poor Southampton fans have got nothing to cheer about at the minute. Could Southampton look at this as a possible opportunity, because Chelsea are a little bit flaky?
Yeah, Chelsea are flaky right now, and also I know they scored in their last game, but other than that, they've been struggling to score, and Southampton are struggling to keep clean sheets, so they might be like, okay, if we can keep it a really tight game, they might be able to get something from this, but ultimately, I feel like Southampton, they create their own mistakes sometimes, so Chelsea should pounce on at least one or two of them.
Yes.
Should being the key word there.
Obviously, Chelsea had the other keeper in for the Aston Villa game.
And he was just as bad, to be honest. They've got so many keepers on the books and don't rate any of them. It's so strange.
Last-minute Asensio goal went right through the Chelsea goalkeeper.
Exactly.
I think Southampton might score, because Chelsea just, I don't know, they're always having problems with their goalkeeper. But surely Chelsea will power through. And this is the kind of game where Cole Palmer will want to fill his boots. Chelsea 3, Southampton 1.
Okay, I'm going for the same deficit. I'm going to say 2-0 Chelsea. I do think that Southampton, if they just set up like really defensive, don't make mistakes at the back, which they have done a few times this season, I think they could keep this like either a low scoring one, or they might even snatch something from this. But I don't know, if Chelsea turn up, the players they've got, if they actually play well, they should win this one comfortably. I'm not going too heavy. I'm just going to say a 2-0 Chelsea win, though.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do let us know your thoughts on that one down below. We're both back in Chelsea. Massive opportunity for them to get back to winning ways. The next game, Sophie, is between Brentford and Everton. I don't like backing either of these teams to lose at the moment. Brentford, I mean, we backed them to beat Leicester, but we didn't think it'd be 4-0. I mean, that was obviously Leicester being terrible, but Brentford being ruthless. Yeah. As for Everton, frustration, obviously, because they should have beaten Manchester United, 2-0 up at home. Should they have had a penalty, Sophie?
For me, yes. He's made the most of it, but ultimately, if you're pulling a player's shirt in the box, that's a penalty, isn't it? You're stopping him from getting to the ball.
Man United, once again, have VAR on their side. As for this game, I think it might be a draw. I can't back either of these teams to lose. Brentford obviously have the home advantage, and they've been the better team in general this season, but Everton are hitting some good form, so I'm going to go for a 1-1.
Yeah, I was half tempted to say 0-0, just because there were so many goals in the last couple of games that you think it'd be so typical that they just cancel each other out now and it's a 0-0. But I don't know, Beto seems to have hit a bit of form for Everton, and then when you've got Visa and Mbeumo, you expect there to be goals, so I'm actually going to copy there. I'm going to say 1-1.
Yeah, it makes sense, I guess. Do share your thoughts, Brentford and Everton fans. I'm enjoying both of you at the moment, and I could see either of them winning it, to be honest.
Yeah.
The next game, Sophie, is at Old Trafford as Manchester United take on Ipswich Town. Big opportunity, I'd say, for both teams, really, to capitalise on the other struggling. Let's start with Manchester United. They did rescue a draw at Everton. It was, if we're going to try and find positives for Man United, it was a bit of a spirited comeback.
Well, yeah, 2-0 down to level it 2-2.
And both of the goals were actually quite nice, from Bruno Fernandes and Ugarte's strike. I just struggle to find positives with Manchester United because of how big a club they are and how little they perform on the pitch. But look, that's where they are. That's where they are right now. As for Ipswich, obviously well beaten by Tottenham. It's all about wins now for Ipswich. I don't think a draw does much good for them here.
No, it doesn't.
They might as well just come and, go for the win.
Everything at it, yeah.
And I think they could win, to be honest. But I have been backing Ipswich quite a bit recently, and it's not been paying off. But then I don't know if I fully trust Manchester United to win this game either. I might go for another draw here. Slightly unhelpful draw for both. 1-1.
Do you know what? I might go for a late winner to Man United. I think it could be in injury time, to be honest. I'm going to go 2-1 Man United. Genuinely see this one going Ipswich 1-0 up, Man United turning it around and getting the winner late on, and then Ipswich leaving heartbroken. That's how I see it going.
That's a shame, isn't it, for Ipswich? Let's hope it doesn't happen like that for the Ipswich fans. But
let's hope it doesn't.
For Man United, I mean, they've only just made it to 30 points. I don't think they're going down, of course, but if we had 3 teams that were competing a bit better down at the bottom, they could have been in trouble, Man United. Yeah. But there you go. Share your thoughts, Manchester United and Ipswich fans. The next game, Sophie, is at the City Ground as Nottingham Forest take on Arsenal. I like this fixture. It's served up some good games over the last couple of years in the Premier League and in the FA Cup. How is this one going to go? Obviously, both teams come into this on the back of defeats at the weekend. Arsenal lost 1-0 at home to West Ham. What the hell?
Yeah, I just did not see that happening at all.
For me, that's title race over.
Yeah, I know they were down to 10 men as well, but even before that, I just thought...
And I was...
win now?
You know when Liverpool drew with Aston Villa in midweek last week, I was starting to think, okay, is the title race on?
Yeah, they're stumbling. They'd left the door open for Arsenal, but weirdly, Arsenal were the ones to close it.
Yeah, Arsenal went through the wrong door. They went through the fire exit.
The revolving door.
Yeah, they've lost. I don't know. Nottingham Forest obviously lost 4-3 to Newcastle. It was a game of 2 halves, I guess. First half, obviously they took the lead, but then they absolutely sort of capitulated. Second half, they did fight back, but I trust Nottingham Forest to score. What is concerning me at the moment for Forest is that defence, actually. And
Which is weird because they were so solid defensively, and now you look at them like they're conceding quite a few.
Well, they used to be so secure and so tight, and they've just lost that fear factor. You know, players coming up against Murillo and Milenkovic were scared because they are tough guys. But I don't know, they look vulnerable now. I mean, after they lost 5-0 to Bournemouth, they had that amazing reaction against Brighton. And Nuno needs to get a reaction out of them here, because if they keep losing, they won't make Champions League.
That's what you're saying, 7-0 Forest?
I'm saying 1-0 Forest.
Okay.
I am going to back them. Yeah. I mean, this game could go either way, but I will back Forest to have a reaction. And Arsenal, they don't really look like scoring at the minute.
No, that's what I was going to say. I think if Forest go back to how they were few weeks ago, just absolutely solid at the back. You mentioned, players would be almost thinking, almost defeated before they'd play them. And then the keeper as well would pull off save after save. And as a striker, you're thinking, it doesn't matter what I do right now because he's going to save it. And that does get into your head. So right now, they're not that same defensive unit. But Arsenal are struggling with their attack. I know they've got quite a few players injured, but I don't see where the goals are going to come from right now. Yeah, 1-0 Forest for me as well. Yeah, I was half tempted to say a stalemate and go 0-0, but do you know what? I think Forest might do it. Chris Wood, 1-0.
There you go, Chris Wood to get the goal as well. Do share your thoughts, Nottingham Forest and Arsenal fans. These were the 2 teams we thought might be able to challenge Liverpool, but it's not looking likely now, is it? It looks like it might be just a battle for second place or a battle to secure a place in the top 4. On to the next game, Sophie. Tottenham Hotspur versus Manchester City. It's an interesting one. Man City, as we know, don't have the best record away at Tottenham.
No, I was going to say, they've got a poor record against Spurs.
Man City are not doing well at the moment. Tottenham have not really done well all season, but they have just won back-to-back games, which is the best form they've been in all season.
Could they get complacent though?
I honestly don't know. I mean, it was a lot better from Tottenham against Ipswich. They were pretty comfortable, weren't they? And they look ruthless. If they take their chances in this game, and I'm sure they will get them, they could win. Let's go for a bonus point, Sophie. Tottenham 3-2.
Oh, okay. I'm going to say 2-0. I'm going to say they keep clean sheet.
Boring.
Because Haaland might be injured again. I don't know when he's meant to be back. Marmoush, he looks really good, to be honest, like some of his striking. So if I know this sounds daft, but if Tottenham can keep it tight at the back, they might get a clean sheet. I think that's the biggest thing I'm going for. Not just the fact that I'm backing Spurs to win, but the fact that I'm backing them to get a clean sheet against Man City. But I think if they play like they did against Ipswich, and if Man City play like they did against Liverpool, I know Pep said he was happy with the performance, but all in all, I wasn't happy with their performance. I know it's been better than it has been. But ultimately, like the Man City, we know from like last season, the season before that, they'd absolutely demolish teams. They'd have that mindset of like, almost as if you've won it before you've even walked out on the pitch. And right now it's like, could they get something from the game, which just sounds crazy, doesn't it? But I think the fact that Tottenham have a really good record against them, their confidence should be high right now. Momentum's in their favour. Spurs 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, didn't Spurs win 4-0 at the Etihad earlier this season?
Yeah, that was the season.
Didn't they knock them out of the League Cup as well?
I think they have already beaten them twice this season.
There you go. That'd be a hat-trick for Spurs, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Do share your thoughts. For Man City, I don't know. I mean, the best they can hope for is top 4, no points deduction, and maybe winning the FA Cup, and that'd be a pretty good end to the season now, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and to be fair, it's not even like criticising the players or Pep. They're bound to be tired when they've been at the top for so long. Obviously, you're going to hit a peak and then come down a little bit. It's just came down a little bit sharper than I was expecting, but ultimately, I'm not criticising Pep or those players because they've won so much. It's just this season has been underwhelming.
It has. The next game, Sophie, we go to Anfield, Liverpool versus Newcastle United. This will be the Carabao Cup final in a week or two as well. I'm looking forward to this. Are you?
Yeah, because I think they're going to weigh each other up as well with tactics.
Yeah. Liverpool have the home advantage. I mean, both teams, by the way, great wins on the Sunday.
Yes.
Newcastle, as we've spoken about, 4-3 winners against Forest. Crazy game. The positives are they look like scoring quite a lot of the time. They come forward. Defensively, could still do with some improvements, but I think they'll give Liverpool some problems, but I just can't see past Liverpool right now.
No.
Liverpool, obviously, 2-0 winners against Man City, and I think if they can really walk into the distance with the Premier League, they can start to turn their attention to the Champions League. I think so. Because if they're so clear in the Premier League, they don't have to worry about winning every game.
Yeah.
I think Liverpool are going to win the Premier League. I think they could win the Champions League, and they could win the Carabao Cup.
Okay.
What a season that would be.
Yeah, that would. Arnie Slot's first.
What are you saying, Liverpool fans? Am I getting too excited for you?
Maybe. I think they're saying, like, don't start talking too soon. We're just focusing on the next game.
Well, let's see if Newcastle rain on their parade. I'm sure if I offered the Newcastle fans, would you rather win this game or the Carabao Cup final? I think they'll take the final.
Yeah.
For this one, it's at Anfield. I'm going to go Liverpool 2, Newcastle 1.
Okay, I'm going to chuck in another goal. I'm going to say 3-1. I was half tempted to say 3-2 because as much as Newcastle are shaky at the back, they're very, very good going forward. Yeah. So I could see there being a few goals in this one. But right now, the way Liverpool are playing, the way Mohamed Salah's playing, I'm going to say 3-1 Liverpool.
Oh, what a win that would be. They're so clear now, aren't they, really?
Well, they are, yeah. I mean, they've not been perfect in recent weeks. They have dropped points, but they've not been punished for it. So,
do you think Newcastle are going to finish top 5, by the way?
They should do.
It's close, isn't
I know.
It's close.
I don't want to call it yet.
Yeah, I hope they do though. Proper fan base, eh? On to the next one, Sophie. We go, well, it's the final game. It's West Ham versus Leicester. And a couple of weeks ago, I might have thought this would be a big game down at the bottom, but West Ham are now on 30 points. Leicester are still stuck on 17. They haven't won in ages, have they? They keep losing.
Yeah.
West Ham 3-0. I think West Ham were very solid against Arsenal, and everyone is beating Leicester at the minute. So fill your boots, West Ham. Honestly, I mean, sympathy for the Leicester fans because of how bad it is, but
should have kept Cooper. We said that.
Look, I don't want to keep. I sound like a broken.
Say I told you so.
I sound like a broken record. I'm not going to say it anymore, but I agree.
Yeah, I know they didn't like the style of football, but now you're getting panned 4-0. So. What's the difference really? Like Cooper's actually getting you some results, so it's a tough one to be a Leicester fan right now. Saying that, I think you said last week I expect them to come straight back up when they go down.
I think they'll
win. They'll have a great season next season.
Yeah,
they'll concentrate on that.
They'll win the championship next year.
Yeah. Right now, West Ham, they've just beaten Arsenal 1-0, which I didn't expect. I'm half tempted to say 3-0 as well. but I've got some catching up to do, so I can't keep going for the same scoreline. I'll say 2-0. I'll be kind to Leicester. Just 2-0.
Okay, interesting. There you go. Do share your thoughts on West Ham United versus Leicester, which is the final game in midweek. And there you have it. They are our predictions for midweek. Make sure to share yours down in the comments. Be sure to support us by dropping a like. Make sure you've subscribed as well. It only takes 2 seconds to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for your great support, and thank you for joining me, Sophie.
Thank you.
We will see you in the next one. Take care. Peace out.